Greater Morristown. It is a busy lunch hour, so I know you're used to me in the other kitchen and it might be quieter, save for some dogs barking. Today we might hear some people coming in and out with carts, but we're at ShopRite. It's what happens. So I am going to take you through some convenient meals today. That is what we were talking about in the month of October. So I wanted to start with what I talked about on Monday, and that is sheet pan meals. So sheet pan meals are a really easy way to mix and match different proteins, sides, and spices to make sure that you can have several different options for dinner. And I'm gonna make it even easier and even better for you with some of these options. So I am going to start with the Chairman's Reserve pork chops. And I really like pork as an option outside of chicken if you wanna just switch it up. Of course, if you want to have something else, again, you can mix and match. But Chairman's Reserve pork has this beautiful marbling. It is all natural, and it just always has such a wonderful flavor. And I am going to season it with these McCormick One Sheet Pan seasoning blends. So maybe I want to have these delicious Chairman's Reserve pork chops, but I'm not really sure what recipe I want to make with them. You look at these McCormick Sheet Pan seasonings, and they give you the idea for you. We have the bourbon pork, that's what I'm gonna use on these. And then I'm actually going to use this Farmer's Market chicken and vegetable on another quick meal, but they also have a beef stir fry and a chicken parmesan. So you have several different one pot, one pan options, and you get those juices flowing. And it's the McCormick spices that and the sodium is in check, you guys. So that I know is always a worry for people if they're watching their salt intake, is you're looking for, if somebody is following a low sodium diet, they tend to look for under 600 milligrams per individual entree serving, under 775 milligrams if you are looking for a full meal. These are well under that, even if the meat that you're using has some sodium in it. But if you're using just plain meat, you can feel really good about that if you are watching that sodium intake. All right, so let's get this ready. It's gonna be super simple. So what I'm gonna start with is I'm gonna put my vegetables on the pan and I'm gonna season them as well. So I thought it would be fun to pick a vegetable that was a little bit different, and I am using this Glory Kale, and we're gonna make some crunchy kale chips along with some fingerling potatoes. And I always like to put, for the sheet pan meals, the sides on the side, and then I put my meat down the middle. That way it makes it easier. If something cooks a little bit faster, you can just pull that off and put it onto another plate, so you don't have to worry about if things are cooking at different times, which sometimes things do. You don't have to worry about it. So I am going to first drizzle with a little olive oil. I'm juggling all my things here. This is what I look like typically when I'm cooking in my kitchen, because let's face it, we're all always in a rush, and that's why we like convenient meals. So I'm just drizzling some olive oil. And what I love about this is the only pan that I am getting dirty is the sheet pan. So limited dishes. And then I'm not even going to add the oil to the pork chop. The marbling that's on these already from that delicious Chairman's Reserve pork is going to give us plenty of flavor. And that sheet pan seasoning is gonna stick right on there. So I'm just flipping it over onto the pan. And then I'll sprinkle it on the other side so that both sides get seasoned. And then we'll be good to go. All right, so that's convenient meal number one, sheet pan meals. Then another type of pan, we have skillet meals. And what I'm going to use for that one are Alfresco chicken sausage. Now, I think chicken sausage is a wonderful ingredient because the flavors in the chicken sausage kind of help to lend flavor to the overall dish. So again, we're picking an ingredient that is giving you that help. It's going to be a shortcut, save a little time because there's a lot of flavor. And again, what I love about the Alfresco chicken sausage is, unlike a lot of other sausages where maybe the sodium's on the higher side, the sodium is really reasonable in these, but you still have tons of flavor. So I'm gonna use the spinach and feta, and I think we do have a question.
Also wants to know, have you used those seasoning packages before?
Yes, I'm a big fan of any seasoning blends because one thing I know that happens is if you look at a recipe and it's got a lot of different spices in it, It might not be something that you have time to run out and get, but when you stock your pantry with seasoning blends, you're going to have a lot of options, and those mixes are already in. And like I said, if I am going to use a seasoning blend, I really try to use one that doesn't have a lot of salt so that I can add that in. So I do really love the McCormick seasoning blends. So I am slicing the chicken sausage, and I'm going to add it to a pan with my stir fry. Where's my Farmer's Market? Here we go. I'm gonna add it to a pan with the Farmer's Market seasoning, not because we need the flavor for the chicken sausage, but rather we need it for the rice that I microwaved. So again, we're looking to make it simple. So this was 1 minute in the microwave. I'm going to put that into my skillet with a little bit of that Farmer's Market seasoning, a little bit of the kale, which is going to cook down, just a little bit of olive oil. So again, one pot meals that we have with lots of flavor. And then that's all just going to cook together. The nice thing with the chicken sausage is you're just looking for color, just to make sure it gets nice and brown. But just like the one pan, one skillet. So similar idea with your spices, your protein, your carbs, and your veggies. But you can see how easy it is to mix and match and really get those convenient meals. And again, having these staples, your seasonings, your Alfresco chicken sausage, your Chairman's Reserve protein, things that you can feel good about, is a really wonderful way to just kind of plan ahead without having to know exactly what you're making. Now, I started with things that, if you want to call it involved, the most involved, and then we're getting less and less involved in things that you have to do. So I think that people remember sandwiches a lot in the summertime because they don't want to cook. Maybe you don't want to use the heat. But really, sandwiches are a wonderful, convenient meal all the time. And you want to feel good about what you're eating and want to make those choices. The Applegate Organic Deli Slices, again, something that you can have in your refrigerator. You know, they're organic, no antibiotics ever. They're meats and cheeses that you can feel really good about. And when you're in a pinch, I know, it's getting into the school year now. If you are a family with kids, everyone has a different sport, a different activity, school musicals on different nights of the week. It's really easy to just put together a sandwich and know that you're feeling good about it with the ingredients that you have in your deli meats. So really love the Applegate Naturals. And then what I wanted to end with is this wonderful product. If you really, do not want to have to do much at all, you look to entrees that are ready to go. And these Kevin's Naturals are a wonderful choice that you can make for your family. We have the pastas that I'm trying today. These are cauliflower-based pastas, so they're gluten-free and they're dairy-free. And the creator of this made this because he himself was having issues with what foods to get because of an illness that he had. So he really made this out of love, and you can really taste that freshness and the love. I'm gonna open it up so you can see. I have one cooking on a pan because you absolutely can cook these in the microwave, but you can also just do it in the pan like I did here. And I'm gonna show you. They sous vide the sauces and the chicken. So everything comes pre-packed. You break up the chicken or whatever protein is in the meal, and you have so much freshness and flavor, and they make this in-house. And then they source the cauliflower pasta. And so you have everything that you need to mix it together, saute it up, and this is a 2-person serving. I actually made it for 1 person here, but this is the penne alla vodka, and it just looks so delicious, and the taste is wonderful. So we go down the line of from cooking to minimal cooking to putting together a sandwich to the work is done for you. But these are all really wonderful options that you can find at ShopRite for convenient meals, whatever amount of time you have. But the nice thing about all of these products is you can feel good about what you're putting on your table, and it's going to taste delicious too. So make sure you check out your local ShopRite, see what's available, and as always, you can visit our recipe shop on ShopRite.com. if you are going the route of some of those one pot and sheet pan meals and want a little inspiration, or just get inspired from the products that I showed you today. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully I made your October meals a little more convenient and gave you some good ideas. Thanks so much for joining me.